Yolk? Yellow egg or something like that. Share. Video link. Share. Copy. Yeah. Can we activate the audio here? Can we mute you? There we go. Amazing. Also, I forget that you can listen to me like breathing. It's something. Sometimes, yes, I'm mentally capable of remembering it. Sometimes I forget. I listen to my own video and I find myself surprised by how much I fucking breathe into the mic, I guess. Mouth breather or something like that. Anyway. What am I looking for? Yeah. The current. The dish. Disk root. Yes, this here. Did I set the category to just chatting? I did. Okay. This. There we go. Not. What am I looking for next? It's. Yeah. Shut. Can I have my own shot on screen? On screen, I already have it. People older than 65 cannot get license renewals anymore. Is this like a global new or am I doxing myself? In Colombia! Why do I care what's happening in Colombia? I don't live in Colombia. What the fuck are you talking about? Colombia? Wow. So meaningful. So absolutely meaningful for me, an Argentinian resident. Colombia. Wow. Okay. What a random pool of whatever. Shut up, man. Yeah. Can happen, I guess. Can happen. Yeah. But yeah, I saw that new. I guess the right word is not happy. The right word is intrigued. Yeah, that's the right word. Why would you actually do it? Isn't it kinda meaningless to remove the capacity for the older generations to get a renewal onto their driving license and whatnot? I guess that's a cool topic, you know? Isn't that something that we should be a little bit more concerned about? I mean, it can actually be a whole discussion, you know? I feel like we don't talk about that enough at all. To some degree, it's kinda hard to think about that in a meaningful way, I guess. Okay. I finished setting up the double chat function and we're fine. Shouldn't. I am asking for way too many commodities. Do I deserve any of them? Not really. But something along the lines of it would be great to have something that allows you to just, you know, like in this case, I need to manually input every single key of streams every single time. And that's kinda weird. Yeah, so I don't know. What about not having to do that? Making it an unnecessary step. Whatever. Point being, yeah. Yeah, wait. Also, is the volume fine? Isn't it kinda low? I think the only issue is me not projecting my voice. I have lost practice. I have been speaking way too little lately, so. And despite going out and being with friends and whatnot, I am not even speaking in that environment, so. Also, no. I was like, why is this thing making noise? It isn't making noise, it's picking up my voice. I was like, wow. But yeah, anyway, here, I have to set up this. I have so many scenes. It's amazing. There we go. We have this. I need to open Gaso. Don't tell my accountant that I forgot to open it yet. Do I need to shut down Steam? Not really. Yeah. I did, anyways. Happens. Yeah. Yeah, I need to change that one image. That image in the corner. That eternally present image. I need to change it, basically. Yeah. You know what? We can go with this, actually. We can totally work with this, actually. This 300% represents the mood, actually. There we go. I say 300%. Wait. What's that? It says 300% over there. Wow, now I can say numbers and they get captured at 1000%. Will it? Huh? No, that one didn't. Amazing. 1,000,000%. A million. You don't write a million. You are so cheap. 500%. Yeah, 500. Amazing. Amazing. Beautiful. Okay, we go back to this. So it seems to be that nothing is crashing so far. Good. Also, let me switch up things like that. There we go. Between setting up and testing, I am going to need a tiered arrow to also signal that I'm gone for a second. At this space, anyway. Yeah, give me a second. I am taking a minuscule break. Not the exact word, but something like that. Yes. I will be back. I shall be. I have to be back. Yeah. So see you in 30 seconds. Back. I no wait. Now I'm back. It feels weird to be looking at my OBS and see so little internet consumption, I guess. Whatever. Something else to do? I don't know. I guess we're fine. I was gonna say, yeah, actually, that. Wait, I have an idea. I realized something. These things should be a little bit bigger. Yeah. A little bit more like that. You can barely differentiate that they are. It is supposed to actually clue you in that they are subtitles. You barely get that with that thing looking the way it did before. So we can have that. Okay, there we go. Like that. There we go. Amazing, 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 amazing. Uh, okay, yeah. What? I was saying, I was looking at. It's not really a topic of conversation. Like, I don't think I'm going to talk about that with anyone else in terms of something that we normally consider, but shouldn't that be a more openly discussed thing in general? The whole. We are getting older. We are becoming older generations. In the proper term would be something along the lines of we are aging more nowadays. Not nowadays, like yeah, older generation. The last 4 or 5 generations have been aging well enough, and we are also on the same path. And the future ones, as long as we don't kill ourselves in terms of wars and whatnot, we supposedly are in the same path. So how is it so normalized to be reducing the age at which you are capable of driving? I guess you can see it from a capitalistic point of view of, yeah, by making older people renounce their right to driving, you directly force them to consume the their mode of transportation through somebody else. So you're promoting the market in that way, but that is an incredibly huge assumption. How many of those people are gonna be? I think how many of the younger generations are gonna be driving, implying that the AI gets good enough? No, are we actually gonna have that many jobs at driving and whatnot, and being a Uber driver or a taxi driver or a whatever, a bus driver and such? Is that gonna be the norm? I am pretty sure that's one of those easily replaceable jobs. Well, they have enough companies working in automated cars, so I don't know. I think it's kind of weird that nobody's trying to openly talk about the erasure of the right to drive yourself around places. I guess most importantly, yeah, it's the whole fact of we are grown enough people. We have grown enough as a civilization, not as people, as a civilization to be capable of understanding that we need to develop technologies to allow our older generations to also have higher qualities of life in general. It's the whole argument of, yeah, you know what? It's kind of meaningless to have older people out there because they are a risk to both themselves and everyone else. You can hear that, but it doesn't mean that it is absolutely true in a way. It's more of a 10 years, 20 years ago acceptable argument. Nowadays, technology seems to be in a good enough position that it shouldn't be the case for you to say, yeah, we have these things, and that's why we are not going to have people driving. It actually is a risk. It constitutes a risk for everyone. So we shall not have anyone there for driving. Simple enough. I don't think it works like that nowadays. I'm pretty sure it stopped working like that nowadays. But anyway, point being, good morning. I forgot to say that. I realized mid rant. I forgot to say that. Good morning. It has been a fucking lot since the last time that we have talked like this. He did die. Amazing. Amazing. And I didn't have any issue whatsoever. Are we back? Are we? Question mark. Huge. Question mark. Why did it crash to begin with? Who knows? Can happen, I guess. Can happen. Whatever. I guess, yeah. I was like, there are no issues with internet today. Nah, I was wrong. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, good morning. It has been a long while since the last time that I have sit down and talk like this, I guess. I don't know. Something about not being capable of actually doing it. I guess in the end, it always is 10 times easier, even if it doesn't happen in the quote unquote right way. You can just put up a game and mindlessly play it, you know? So I prefer to do that sometimes. But I I do actually have a nicer in hindsight, yeah. I enjoy more doing this. And the issue is it requires way too much that otherwise it might not be present. So yeah, sorry for not having these sort of streams, I guess. And point being, we are here finally, so I don't know, not much to add. The whole structure is always whatever happens. It's the most. I don't know. I don't want to simply classify it as satsu. There is you can see it for convenience sake. You can say that it is satsu, but I would rather also say that it is something more along the lines of purely rambling. That's more like it. That's the structure that I tend to follow myself and monologue and whatnot, you know. So yeah, point being, good, good one. Has been a long time, and I don't know. So much stuff has happened. It's hard to collect all the thoughts in one particular way to be capable of presenting anything, but I don't know, happens. The most important thing is the wonderfulness of being here in terms of, yeah, we have yet survived, and not in this case, since the last Freeform, it has been a month or a little bit more, and that's very good. I don't know. I found out or realized something interesting today. There is this whole discussion of, okay, how do I actually go about talking these things in terms of how do we actually try to utilize and try to make sense out of something along the lines of understanding the wonderfulness of my own existence in a different sense. How do I get the gifts that exist in my life? The whole, I guess, you can trace it to something like Buddhism, the whole, yeah, life is always a gift and whatnot. The whole concept of something like that. And I realized, I'm pretty sure like today, something along the lines of, yeah, the bare bone, the minimal ground in which we stand is literally that we are not dead. It's in itself already the fact that we are alive, even if to some degree, yeah, but life in itself is suffering and existence ends up being ultimately painful, and we are forced to go through the act itself of being without having ourselves chosen to do so, and all of those other more nihilistic notions, perhaps they can be argued, but the real point, the real starting line, I think, is, yeah, we are not there. That's kind of amazing. That's kind of actually good. And that's kind of a good baseline to be in. Yeah, I'm happy that we are here. The point was, it has been a month since the last time that we have been doing something like this. I am more than happy. I can say that it's more than wonderful, and I don't know, I guess, despite it in a more realistic manner, or in a more realistic sense, yeah. Having utilized all of that time to be here now feels quite wonderful, I guess. It's fantastic to see that we have not only continued the whole question of continuing to do the things that you like and work on the stuff that you find interesting and whatnot, but also the whole topic of, and you know, it's quite nice to actually have the possibility of doing anything in a way, and having the fulfillment exist in the action that you do. It's, I guess, I don't know, the whole topic of, yeah, it's weird to admit to it, but yeah, having something that feels, without it constituting a vice, so having something that feels good is nice, and having the capacity to go towards that good thing, good sensation, so to speak, is ultimately wonderful. And I would even say essential, sadly, most times absent. But yeah, we are good. We are in good hands or something like that. Point being, yeah, here we are. And I don't know, it has been reasonable enough. Not really that long ago. It just happened that here we are. And life keeps moving forward, as life never waits. Life is the eternal wheel of all the events that occur, even if you are present for them or not, whatever. Point being, I don't know, I haven't trying to, not, okay, I haven't tried. I haven't continuously, as always, it's like, what are you doing? Learning. What have you been doing for the past 5 years? Learning. What have you been doing for the past 10 years? Learning. That, I guess, most of my existence has been surrounded with the action of learning in some way, or trying to put any of the learned knowledge in practice whenever it is possible, and even when it isn't consciously formed, have also that happen in a way of, yeah, this thing is happening now, despite us not being aware of it, in terms of I am exercising unconsciously the thing that I have learned because I have become good enough to utilize it, even in this unconscious manner, or yeah, despite me not putting actual effort into doing it and whatnot. And yeah, it's nice. So yes, it's the eternal, to some degree, the eternal stride of trying to continue to do something that has been part of your existence for so long. It always is something strange to realize that in the end, it's there are some things that are unavoidable. How to find a way to continue doing the things that you have been always doing in your whole existence without feeling like you want to throw everything off, or you want to destroy everything that you have already done in terms of, do I really want to keep on learning? Haven't I say it in that sense to some degree. Unavoidably, it is a joke. I haven't really spent 10 years of my life learning, or the past 10 years. I I am a pretty laid back person, I would call myself. And yeah, point is, it's far more about those consistently enough repeated actions that you feel are ever present in your own existence, even if when somebody else checks on them, they aren't. That kind of stuff. And trying to find a balance on all of that is always strange. The reality goes a little bit beyond in terms of, yeah, I also have something like, I don't know, I have to wash the dishes, Do I really feel sometimes like I don't want to do it? Unavoidably, there are some things that can sometimes be felt like absolutely horrible to perform because you are going to keep doing them. There are always present in our life, and they might as well continue being. And it's quite strange to have to reconcile ourselves with such things continuously. It's like, in a way, no matter how much I listen to the voices of those who know, quote unquote, I don't find anybody who actually talks about it in terms of, it feels like unavoidably throughout life, you're always going to be having that inner voice that tries to ask throughout time, not every single day, but like every so often, so that you can realize that it has always been there and it might as well always be there. Is this the right thing to do? And it's something, I guess, some days it's incredibly easy to answer to, yeah, this is the most wonderful thing to do. And sometimes it's the question of, is this the thing that we're actually interested in becomes a little bit more complicated to say while believing in the answer that you're giving. Let's say like that. And I don't think it's always horrible to need to believe in what you are doing. But it's just that sometimes you can always trace it back to, I guess, I have actually realized something. To some degree, unavoidably, parenthesis, to some degree, something wonderful that I have seen that happens in the educational system is, okay, it does have some flaws, but you know what? Because it has these flaws, uh, so, flaws? What? Flaws. I just realized flaws, as in errors, bad things, okay? I was saying, the educational system has such flaws of any kind, and the point is, because it has these certain flaws, which might be significant enough, we can also add other problems that it can have, that it does have in the end, and we can also add, on top of that, some other things that we would like to see fixed, because it traces back to what I was saying of, you know what? Sometimes I feel like, we should have been taught in school. Yeah? Do we truly need to be taught in school to deal with something like that? To some degree, that's part of the existence of oneself. Some questions are unavoidably capable of being answered by the educational system. The possibility to address their mere existence, at least, could occur, even if it currently enough doesn't happen. The possibility of having a proper grown-up discussion or educative demonstration towards the younger generations who have to go through the process of educating themselves to teach others that, this certain type of things are going to happen is doable. But at the same time, is it really all that fair to say, I need the educational system to fix my problem? In that case, I don't think it's all that fair. Unavoidably, it is hard, but I don't think we are ready, as we don't really have professionals in other fields of the world, as in psychology, who can properly deal with this question. We don't have a psychiatrist who can unmistakably answer the whole question of, I find myself doubting what I am doing today, having difficulties convincing myself that this is what I want to do. And we want to take that onto the school? Really? Isn't unavoidable at that point? It can be far more damaging to try to give a non-working answer to people, even more to growing up people who needed to have solid concepts in front of them so that they don't have to struggle so much with the rest of the world, And point being, the whole concept, the whole notion I started with, I feel like I would have been grateful if I was taught a little bit more of that, but sadly, being realistic, I don't think we are even remotely close to having the possibility of actually talking about this question in general in a good way. We don't possess enough things to try and talk out, people and the constant struggle to be sure about what you are doing, to be 100% certain that the choices that you took are the right ones and whatnot, and the actions, the cycles that you have to keep on repeating, more importantly, are the ones that you truly should be putting so much emphasis on, emphasizing so much into, and whatnot. I feel like that's a huge portion of this conversation. And it's, I don't know. Point was, I feel like it happens. In my case, I can see it happening, and so far I have finally rebalanced all of that. It's always wonderful to have the possibility of coming back to what you like. It's okay. Let me drink some water and think how to say it. think about how let's say like this, something that can so easily happen is in this world absolutely centered in the concept of passion, being passionate about something, that you can start, you could, more properly said, you could start to bandwagon everything that you do under the pretense of passion, when the reality is, in some cases, it needs to actually happen. You have to actually properly demonstrate, remind yourself. I don't know how to exactly say it in terms of the personal process, no? Recognize to yourself, admit whatever you want to say. That, yeah, indeed, there are some things that I am passionate about. There are some others that I don't really care about. I don't love learning in the most open sense of the word. I I will need like 10 minutes to think about something. I am not really interested in learning about how are the ground conditions for new plantations in a place like Cuba. I don't live there. I don't know anyone from there. I don't have any reason to actually learn about something like that, you know? I love learning as a specific set of things. I love utilizing my time in pursuing a certain type of knowledge, and I can do that properly enough, and I can have no issue whatsoever in doing that. Not isolated, particular kind of thing, particular set of actions, far more easily than anything else. I can, once again, I can lie to myself. I can try to say, yeah, I love all these other things so much, and I have such an enjoyment for all these other things and whatnot, when in reality I don't. And the issue is, once that happens, I am going to destroy myself so much in doing so. I already did, and I will probably, at some point in life, it will happen again. I will lie to myself and say, yeah, what a wonderful thing this is. I love learning. I love learning about something like, for example, in my career, I have to learn about neurobiology, which is something that I do like. But before reaching that step, I have to learn about general biology. Do I actually care about general biology? As in, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, that kind of biology, basic. No. But I can lie to myself and say, yeah, I love so much learning about this, and in doing so, in diluting my own vision of what I truly like, in putting this new veil of perception in front of what I once knew I liked, lying and making it look like I truly care about something which I utterly in the end don't, I can incredibly well harm my capacity to perform continuously enough, repeatedly enough, that same thing that I have been doing for long enough. Like, I don't know, for example, another example, I like to move throughout my city in bike. I like to do that, and I can leave it at that. I like it in the way in which I do. I like to be somebody who, if it's necessary, takes like their time and do so slowly enough so that I can get to anywhere that I want without being absolutely destroyed by the process of doing it. And I can leave it there, or I love biking. More open-ended sentence, and start to include other things that don't really fall under the category of what I know I like, but what I can, in a quick moment of judgment, in a rapid second of analysis, I can make it look like I actually care about it. Because I will need to sit down and I realize, I will need to consciously realize that what I am saying is not actually true. That what I have grouped with all of these other things might not fall under the category of what I enjoy myself. And in doing so, I end up unavoidably harming the process, harming the thing that I said I loved, and harming the aspect that I fundamentally found interesting. In this case, being I like to do biking throughout my city, but I don't like to swerve through cars. I don't like to go as humanly fast as possible, putting my life in risk and in lying to myself, in making that other part apparent for the sake of I don't even know what exactly, just changing the way in which I engage with existence, something along those lines. I can unavoidably harm myself, tire myself more, put other things also into risk. It's something weird that happens, I guess. It's unavoidable. I think one of the few things that I have heard about that is the mental capacity for the logical mind to try to resolve through reasoning many of those same arguments, abandoning the whole aspect of sometimes I can reason out things. I can say rational enough sentences, but it doesn't mean that sentimentally I align with what I am logically thinking. I don't. I can say that I like, I don't know, uh, sitting and mindlessly playing a game without making any coherent sentence whatsoever throughout the process of doing so. Do I truly find an enjoyment in doing so? Do I, the moment in which I am doing it, do I find myself satisfied in that action? No. But I can construct enough arguments to try to convince myself and have that eternal discussion and argument with my own person to try to make it look like I am right. And in doing so, I keep on trying to put first my more logical side of myself, unavoidably ignoring that whole aspect of feelings, sentiments, and whatever. And in doing so, therefore, unavoidably harming the way in which I engage with things. And the most, the most harmful or final of things, ensuring that whenever I try to do something in general, I am going to be absolutely destroying myself. Because in the end, does it really matter if I have a good time or not? I can always tell myself that I do. I can always make it look like it's fine. And I don't know. I guess unavoidably that's like a mere beginning. There is still a certain degree of a necessity to talk about something like, yeah. I also needed to find a balance to go back into this aspect of I have to do things that I absolutely hate too. But I can barely do the things that I like without abandoning them. So okay, I wonderful that moment in which you forget that you should breathe and drink water at the same time. Give me a second. Uh, I am kinda back. Kinda. Amazing. I was saying, I wasn't really saying anything, yeah. I had, fuck, I had just finished what I was saying. I don't know, man. Life is great enough as it is right now. Yes, that's my point. And, yeah, I remember I actually kind of set myself up for something in terms of, I think we have this one other thing existence there. You have sometimes you have the possibility also of trying to balance out the things that you don't like and the whole way in which you can face them even if they feel bad. I guess the whole sense of, okay, let's say like this, you need to be capable of balancing what are the bad sensations with the good ones in a way, because first and foremost, unavoidably, you have the sentimental aspect which rules what you like and what you truly get to enjoy, the pleasures in life and whatnot, and the good things that you can not only reason out but also be capable of aligning with and finding an enjoyment in and whatnot. But also you have this other category of the set of bad things that you will have to go through no matter what. And that, I guess, that's the reign of reason a little bit more. And unavoidably, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, it's way too hard to have those conversations with oneself, discussions with oneself, whatever they are, in which one finally gets to actually talk about, yeah, one gets to put in words, basically, I actually need to do this thing, even if it feels horrible. I need to do this. Perhaps, most important thing, perhaps I am going to be harming myself, harming my goals and whatnot, if I don't do this one thing. Otherwise, even if it doesn't feel good, I need to do it and I need to be working on it. Because even if it doesn't have that reward, that is the pleasure in the things that I do, I still needed to be doing something, and I still need to be engaging in something, and that's something in itself, that kind of conversation, more so with the whole aspect of responsibilities and whatnot, is always hard to actually carry forward, let's say. In the end, it's not okay. It's not hard to carry forward. It's hard to conclude efficiently. That's the more coherent sentence. It's hard to actually make it work, to actually have that conversation and realize that, yeah, I need to go through this suffering. For example, something that I have been spending a lot of time lately thinking is bureaucracy. It's not that I personally despise it so much. I am amazed so much about how little we understand bureaucracy in its pure sense. And I haven't tried, I have spent a good portion of my own existence trying to get to answer the question of, is this bureaucratic process necessary? Is this really something that we have to deal with? And most importantly, not when I ask myself that, but when somebody else comes and tells me, fuck, I have to go do this bureaucratic process yet again. I have to sit there and spend hours of my life to finish this thing that could simply take 5 seconds and whatnot. I have to fill so many forms instead of just clicking one button and solving my whole existence. With the stuff of that sort, I feel like many times it doesn't really happen that we have a good conversation in terms of, do you truly understand what this has to happen? I feel like you're angry more simply because you wanted to have something to be angry about. There are some things that we cannot skip in terms of security processes and such. We needed to have, we live in a complicated enough world in which suddenly things need to make sense, and not just a basic sense, but also in the whole coherence of the system in which we live in, And sometimes it's necessary to have that layer of bureaucracy to keep things ordered. The whole mistake of believing that we are going to be capable of organizing ourselves without any other power influencing our existence is kinda deranged, I will say. And in that sense, I mean, for example, it comes to my mind the whole meme. I see it as a meme to some degree. I have found something interesting. There are many memes that can function as layers of memes of multiple jokes within one same meme, like the meta joke and the joke itself present in the meme, let's say. And the example, I can actually put it off onto screen. Give me a second. Can I find it? I think I am going to find it on Google. If I find it, I'm going to find it on Google. This one, I found it. This one. You have tried the URL, yes. The fuck is this garbage? Huh? I just wanted to copy the image, brother. Was it that hard? It was that hard. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You have no clue how wonderful that is. Can I copy you now? No. Can I... Wait. I'm gonna be having some struggles here because it doesn't work. Give me a second. Okay, it's not that it doesn't want to work. It worked and it added the entire page, not just the meme that I wanted. This is a Facebook page? You have a drag. Yes. Are you going to dox me? Why do you open the entire Facebook page? I just want one meme, brother. Is it that hard for you to add a meme? Do you truly? Are we serious, bro? Okay, I dragged this. What? Something changed in the infrastructure of fucking... Even there we go. Okay, I added it. Finally. There we have it. This meme. There we go. So I seriously don't understand why we need a birth certificates. Like, I promise you, I was born that meme. I spent 5 minutes trying to get that meme. Sorry. I was saying, memes like that, they are funny, indeed. But at the same time, there is the meta meme of somebody actually thinks that it makes no sense whatsoever to need a birth certificate, you know? Stuff like, yeah, when were you born? Exactly at which day were you born? Stuff like age verification, for example, relies on you having a birth certificate. And it sounds basic enough, but I don't know. Sometimes I have talked with people who sadly, yeah, they seem to not know stuff of that sort. They seem to not be absolutely aware of everything. So the conversation becomes, yeah, this is to some degree, this is actually annoying, but it does serve some kind of purpose, even if we don't instantaneously realize that it does. There is a reason why stuff happens like that, you know? It's not meaningless to have to carry your any kind of identification of who you are with yourself at all times when you're out there, you know? It's crazy to go. We go back to the times of, yeah, I am saying that I am this person and I can disappear entirely from the face of the earth if I want by simply changing who I present myself as. That's absolutely crazy. And it's reasonable, therefore, to have stuff of this sort that allows for things to remain the way they are. The conversation isn't, I guess, oh yeah, but do they actually work in any one way? Do they actually benefit me or harm me? They keep me bound to these degrees of things, and for example, I need my birth certificate, and even if that is true and they can know my age with that, doesn't mean that we're avoiding things like age verification nowadays and whatnot. Unavoidably, that's a completely entirely different issue. The real point is that the paper itself serves a purpose, even if we cannot realize it sometimes. Things make sense. The issue is, I guess, the eternal concept of I believe that I understand what's going to happen. I believe that I understand what's about to occur. And I believe that I understand why things are the way they are, even if I have not even at all tried to make sense as to why they are the way they are. And because of such things, we end up unavoidably feeling more lost in this world, feeling more disoriented in terms of I believe that everything makes sense, and I am already angry because the way in which I constructed my vision around the existing things of this universe makes it so that I end up being in some way or other, so to speak, the whole notion, I guess, of victim mentality, the whole aspect of, I am the person who is being affected negatively the most by the things because they are set to be this one way. And obviously my mindset makes it be such that they are all set to negatively affect me. And whatnot. And point being, I don't know, it's strange to see that sometimes there are issues, sometimes there is just misinformation, no, lack of information, lack of education, I guess, lack of knowledge about the possibility of getting to at all understand why things are the way they are. Let's say like that. It's a way too long sentence, but that's to some degree the most coherent way of saying it. That sometimes, maybe not right now, not all the things that trouble me will make sense in the next 2 hours if I sit down and study about them. But for sure, 90% of the problems that I have will make sense once I actually sit down and try to learn why they are there and such. And even more, the whole aspect of not only will I understand why they exist, I might even get the benefit of, how can I try to solve these issues that I find having myself right now and whatnot, And it's, I don't know, I guess it's always the whole complicated discussion of, these things are the way they are and these things seem to work in this manner and whatnot. It's just about finding how to make them work, and finding how to be capable of navigating the difficulties of life without getting so angry about or so moved in any one way despite them existing and whatnot. I guess, unavoidably things are upsetting sometimes, but that's the nature of the world. And it's, for example, continuing to work on this whole concept of, you decided to get angry, or you couldn't avoid but to get angry. You also will have to do the whole work of not being angry anymore. That whole concept of, I will get irritated just to have to spend also energy on not being irritated anymore. Wonderful, wonderful. What a wonderful world. What a beautiful reality. I don't even have the right to be angry because later on I have to keep functioning as a normal human being. Suddenly, we don't live in a world in which you can just be in that continuous triggered state and completely aggressive manner. You shouldn't. You can, Same thing as how you can kill a person. Should you do it? Probably not. Most certainly not. Most certainly, you also shouldn't be continuously aggressive towards the entirety of existence. So yeah, it's one of those things that one has to accept, and that sort of thing, even if it happens in that way, even if it exists in that manner, I wouldn't say it a completely negative issue. It's just something to keep on working, I guess. Yeah, let's say like that. But well, that's life, I guess. I don't know. I have no clue, man. I have no clue. I just wanted to say, continuing with that, and I feel that I think that as always, somehow, I guess I have been in a very information-centered phase of my life. Something like that. And I feel like when I work, there is this whole layer of kind of trying to. Yeah, sorry. Trying to kind of go back to what I was saying before about learning as a nice thing, as an enjoyable thing, as a good thing. I found. I keep on realizing every single day. It's so hard also to be capable of having everything in front of you. I, at least, particularly with learning, I feel incredibly annoyed. I forget that I shouldn't be listening to other people so much, at least in a personal case. I hate losing on experiences that can be very informative. Most importantly, having the opportunity to discover knowledge that is available to me simply if I go looking for it because somebody else said, no, yeah, it's so difficult. I don't fucking know if it is difficult. I haven't tried it myself. I haven't even given it a try. How can I decide based on the opinions of others so rapidly if it is absolutely meaningless or not to do that? And I have had such wonderful times with some information, with the process of going through what some people have to offer. For example, not character of what I'm reading aside, the description themselves, the work that was performed for that time, the whole thing of things taken instead of their own context. I have been preparing to go to an exam. It's not called ethnography. It was called ethnography. It's called. I had it written down somewhere. Anthropology, yeah. Anthropology, basic anthropology. And studying something like that from the actual sources of knowledge is wonderful. People can write wonderful things. Why do I have to sit down and believe that's what? That's the thing that I am annoyed at more. Even teachers say, yeah, you know what? You shouldn't go to the real text. You shouldn't explore the real information that was offered by these people. You should not go through that process. It's so bad for you. What? What are you talking about, man? I have been having such a nice time reading somebody like Malinowski. It's understandable. And you spend so much time bashing at that person. Really? It's amazing to see how sometimes it almost feels like people simply want you to not learn because, oh god, no, you're not going to be capable of sitting down for 5 hours to learn something. Really? Am I that brain dead that I can't sit down and learn something? Are you truly telling me that, man? Are you truly taking me as that kind of person? If I have some sort of interest, if what I am listening sounds interesting enough, I truly can sit down and enjoy all the literature available to me from this author, all the books, all the audiobooks, all the whatever thing is there available for me. Are you truly saying to me that I am not going to have the possibility of going through that without me even giving it a try? And I also become acceptant of such a thing? How am I so stupid sometimes? It's amazing to see that. It's incredibly annoying to find myself having yet again fell for it a word. Somebody said, ah, yeah, this thing is so meaningless, you shouldn't read it. It's so hard to get, you shouldn't go through that. Truly? What are you talking about? Can you give me a complete explanation of that so that I can at least skip going through that? No, we should just not do it. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? Are we truly acting like this? It's amazing. Somehow, in this era, in which information is the most available thing in most areas of knowledge, the predominantly present thing in the common discourse is something absolutely against knowledge. Ah, yeah, you know what? Just trust me, bro. Hashtag trust me. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. But I don't know. Point being, I feel like, yeah, it's just having those things that one likes, having those things that one enjoys doing and whatnot, is not only interesting but also wonderful to pursue. And the issue always remains, can I actually do something about that? Can I actually center myself towards those goals? Can I make sure that they are present in my existence or not? With also those mistakes of, ah, yeah, let me now. It has not worked the 99 previous times. This is the 100th time for sure something will change. Such attitudes, such a necessity to be complacent of what is around me in some way, such an strange way of acting, end up also absolutely destroying my enjoyment in things. I would say, and in this case, yeah, I like learning. I can finally go back and say I like learning, and it's so annoying to be once again faced with the idea of, you know what, you are not capable of learning truly, man. How many times do I have to realize? How many times? Not that I'm somebody special. How many times do I have to hear people say, ah, no, yeah, it's impossible for anyone to learn out these things unless you have these very innate qualities that no human almost ever is born with. If you are not special, you are not going to be capable of dealing with that. Truly, okay, at the very least, I can understand the way in which you see the world, and I can avoid engaging in a discussion with you about how you decided to selectively negate yourself from enjoying some aspects of life fundamentally by making it something based on a immutable quality of yourself and others. But I am not going to try to change you. You're fine. You can say whatever you want. But I am pretty sure it's different. And I feel like it's absolutely not the case. And I actually enjoy trying sometimes. And I even, in this case, I prefer even failing, even if it is necessary, than to believe, ah, yeah, you know what, it's absolutely doomed to failure. What? Truly? What a wonderful person you are, my brother or sister. Truly, that's most most magnificent mentality to have in this world where we are already facing so many other challenges, where so many things are already almost by nature set to attack the way in which we humans live nowadays. It also contributes so much to have yet another voice who says, "No, yeah, you know what? It's bad for you to try something. It's bad for you to go for something. It's bad for you to be someone." Wow, what a magnificent addition you are to this universe. You should for sure continue doing that. That contributes so much to everyone else. But anyways, enough about being angry. I will change. Let me go in a completely different direction before I suffer an aneurysm here. I don't know. I guess I have something. I have something very brief. It's I guess it's something quite political in nature, but I have been learning about that, and I am amazed by that. As in, I don't even know. I like that. I know it has to be political, but I don't really know from which side because I'm not that deep into politics. I just know that it is about something political, but I feel like we're not talking enough. But one second, what was it that I said before? Yeah, this thing of when I started, we need to have conversations about truly the human beings as a whole are closer than ever to an era in which we are consistently enough be getting closer once again and going back to being, or not come back, making sure that almost everyone gets to live 100 years plus. We are losing the right somehow. We are right under our noses. It's happening. That's the conversation about, oh yeah, you know what? This thing, the possibility for you to mobilize yourself with your own vehicle by your own means is being stripped away from your hands, is being removed from you. We are not doing anything about that. Same thing with the whole, and that's what I guess it's political, the whole concept of palantir and whatnot. I have been, the more you learn about stuff of that sort, the more it feels absolutely strange to see so many people have so little interest in talking about that. Not so little, no interest whatsoever. It's it's not even a completely hidden secret. It's inaccessible information. Truly, it's inaccessible. You're telling me that I am privileged enough to know that a random Argentinian guy is a privileged individual? No, man. It's accessible enough. It's accessible enough. The issue is, once again, is the whole way in which that whole question always gets answered is simple enough. The way in which information is centralized and manipulated by the main media courses and whatnot, and that gives the person who does not possess enough awareness about the necessity to educate themselves and to find out about certain topics by their own means, will keep such individuals stuck in that sort of system and without ever realizing that there is something bigger. And in this case, sadly, it has become so normalized that people who constitute that, or who are participants in that cycle, have now become the majority, and only a minority understands that they have the possibility to actually learn about what they want and find out information about the things that they actually care about, and once again develop tastes of their own and find things that they are willing to learn about by their own means and such, and try to investigate with their own hands if it is necessary. Even if that is true, it doesn't mean that it is, once again, inaccessible. I am happy to spend 5 minutes finding something worth to look at, something worth to listen, something worth to read, whatever, man. It's somehow the whole concept of I have to find something to consume. I have to find something to keep having a good time has now become something bad. The whole what was the meme? One of the many memes, for example, to make this more understandable, the whole meme of I spent my entire dinner scrolling through YouTube instead of actually having a video to watch. It's not exactly that I do that. I can do the scrolling before actually sitting down. I can organize myself. I can accept that I need to actually find something worth my time and make it happen in another instance of my own existence. It's like somehow I have people becomes aware that sometimes I need to spend a little bit of time in the things that I like so that I can keep on liking them unavoidably. The whole aspect of I don't need to settle down for absolute slope. Same thing here. I can actually find something that I like. I don't need to just keep. Let's apply what I said before. The construction of the argument will be I like to watch videos. I don't really like to watch absolutely any video, but if I tell myself that I like to watch videos, simple enough, and I settle down with watching any kind of video, and in the longer run I start to consume any kind of a slope that the quote-unquote algorithm presents to me, I will in the long run, therefore unavoidably, either get addicted to that very same kind of a slope, and therefore reduce my quality as a consumer, the things that I know I like consuming, and the things that I can identify I have a good time going through, or even worse, I can altogether lose the interest in watching videos. And now I can realize that that happens, and I can step back, or I can keep on doing it and ultimately harm the way in which I go through this thing. And that's something that I feel like happens way too much. It's the whole that's something that I have been working on, I guess, trying to understand how sometimes those sort of notions exist within the person, but at the very same time they're completely dormant. I guess I realize that sometimes I am doing something that is upsetting even to myself. Even for myself, I am getting angry, irritated in some way and whatnot, and I am getting absolutely destroyed by these kind of actions. But I cannot admit to it so directly, and that's the process itself. That's where I actually need to work, where I actually need to spend some time and try to make it be no more an issue. And I guess that's what I find is amazing. It's that this kind of stuff exists. It's not like it truly does not exist. I am absolutely unconscious of it myself, but I guess I don't know, try to make them apparent instead of just knowing that in the back of my mind there is something that doesn't sit quite right with me. I guess that's the proper explanation. I don't know. Anyway, let me drink some water. Thank you. I don't know. I have something. I have I have something. Okay. Let me say it like this. I have an idea that I want to properly present. I need to finish working on the video. I think I'm going to do that. There is this whole concept about the moment in which you say something, it actually becomes harmful for you to out the intentions that you have. You get the gratification of expressing what you want to do without actually doing it, simply because of the reaction that you obtain unavoidably to some degree. While it is true, something interesting to have in mind is also it serves quite as a fallacy. Once you're also aware of it, you also not only hold yourself back from talking about it, but the moment in which you say anything, you make it a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of, yeah, I said something about what I want to do, but now I know that I want to do anything about it. You are yourself, you can do what you want. You are not bound to the rules of things. It's a tendency, not an absolute rule, and a completely immutable law of the universe. You can express what you want to do and actually do it. And in that case, yeah, I want to finish working on. I need to actually start working on it. I need to finish the script, yeah. And I have been also collecting ideas, and I found one very interesting about this whole concept of post jokes and post comedy and post irony and whatnot. And I feel like to some degree, where does that come from? I feel like it is most present with the stuff of this sort, with conversations of this kind of, yeah, there are these issues and whatnot. The whole line of thought was a little bit along the lines of, I was, while drinking water, remembering a little bit not only what I said, but also that these sort of conversations are sort of consistently enough happening throughout different places. Different people get to the same realization throughout their life, and it is a common enough conversation to have. But at the same time, while that is true, there is this another layer of nowadays something wonderful has been happening, and that is while people try to discuss this thing, the whole concept of simply we have a group, we have our groups of people who we share unavoidably with other human beings, and the concept is I present something to the group, and I want the group to discuss it. I want to reach a proper understanding about this notion. I know that I might not be capable of understanding it myself, even if I don't explicitly state that, yeah, I want to get a clear enough notion about this thing. I present at least a bare bone idea to see if anyone else can contribute to that, or at the very least demonstrate that I'm working on it. Okay. And in the present landscape of discourse, something wonderful happens. I have the possibility of getting absolutely demolished by this sort of post-irony, which, wow, look at this stupid guy saying these things. Why are you so concerned about these things? Why are you so worried? Look at, more so aligned with the conversations that repeat through time. There have been times, there have been people who have said things that have been repeated enough by others. Something like, what's a basic example? I don't know, don't kill. Something like that has even now been taken as a thing capable of being mimified in terms of, yeah, look at who said don't kill. Not because they are a mass murderer, but simply because the necessity to make fun out of everything, and the necessity to make any kind of thing funny in that sense is outrageously strange, I will say. And yeah, I feel like it's not only detrimental, but also necessary to stay binded to that conception of, yeah, you know what, we have these things that exist in this way and nothing else. I don't really feel like that is the case. So sometimes, I guess the whole concept of shame is quite a complicated thing to actually deal with. It's quite easy to hear something like, yeah, listen to you. How are you going to be talking about those things? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Are you stupid? Who do you believe you are? Why are you trying to talk about those things? Stay in your little place, clone man. And listening to such things can very easily harm, even if you quote unquote are grown up. Unavoidably, confidence itself can be quite a vital thing. So it's very simple to stay within the boundaries of whatever we find defined for us, to us. by that exterior group, I guess. And yeah, it's sad to see that it happens, but yeah, it's I would say still my real conclusion is I don't know, I feel like sometimes it actually takes a little bit of actual willfulness. It's not about will. I haven't having a struggle with that word also, but it's about having the conviction to say the same thing 2 or 3 times until people can realize that you're actually saying it and not just parroting something. Okay, yeah. That notion of sometimes people say things that are going to be good for their image without actually believing on them. Okay, sometimes people can get clowned on because of that same thing nowadays. So it's necessary, therefore, unavoidably to be capable of saying anything with true conviction, to be capable of demonstrating that one means what they say. Ah, yeah, you know what? I truly believe that things are this way, should be this way, ought to be this way, whatever. Should not be this other way, whatever. The capacity to say it multiple enough times and to demonstrate that it is the case. That you say it once, you get clowned on, you say it for a second time, a third time, a fifth time. You don't just give up. It's quite surprising to see how little conviction people has about what they say. What I was saying before, the facility of the ego, I guess you could say it in other words of, yeah, I want to try this thing, but somebody said that it is not really what I should be trying. Oh no, I guess I will give up. Truly, man, truly, that's the way you want to live your life, not doing anything that you want because one random said that it's not right for you. Wow. It's, I guess, I don't know, strange to live like that. Let's say strange, to not say anything else. But I don't know, working on stuff of that sort, I guess, yeah. And in that very same line, continuing on that very same trend, I feel like something wonderful that has been happening in, also in that very same line is the whole aspect of how I remember listening, no, reading about it from other places. I can now understand a little bit more why everyone wants to have an opinion about some things. Let me construct the argument. Haven't we been sold for long enough that we are living in a mental health crisis era, that we are about to have the worst problems about the mental health of people, that everyone is about to go into a crisis, that the system is about to collapse because we don't have enough and whatnot? Aren't we constantly bombarded with reminders of this very same notion? And haven't we been under the same threat, so to speak, for long enough? Is it really that surprising, therefore, that almost all public personalities are trying to do something about that? Is it that surprising to see even the most random people? What do you mean random? Somebody like, I guess, Mr. Beast, for example, which qualifies as random, trying to do that? Is it truly all that surprising to see that? I don't feel like it is all that crazy. I don't feel like it comes out of nowhere. And I am trying to not name that many examples. The point is not really exactly who. The point is it happens. And it occurs naturally enough. And it's weird to see how much of a strange reception it has when you see somebody talk about mental health in that way. I, despite getting deeper and deeper into the hole, I keep hearing it way too much everywhere else. I keep seeing it being said and repeated and almost paraphrased in so many areas. It doesn't really surprise me that it has become such an effective message, so to speak, such an spoken issue, or even if it doesn't exist, issue of this other world and whatnot. And it's strange to see that, yeah, we think that there is no problem whatsoever, that there is no issue whatsoever. It's absolutely crazy to see how much we're capable of making sense out of things of that sort. For example, yeah, we have at least the mental health crisis impending on us, and now it's astounding to see people. While we say that, we also are surprised when yet another personality, public personality, decides to make a statement of any kind of sort about that. Unavoidably, I'm not talking about the legitimateness of their statements and the validity and whatnot. It, I can also talk about, I don't know, physics. I am not a physicist. I am most surely going to be wrong, you know? So I should not speak about it confidently and believe that what I am going to say is going to be right. I don't have to do that. But what I can do is at least try to inform myself to make any kind of opinion, if it is going to happen. Point being, sorry, that yeah, it's so easy to see it happen and people be so absolutely surprised about that. I don't know, I'm amazed about how dumbfounded we are about this our current world and whatnot. It's not really the case that once again things don't really make no sense whatsoever. Sometimes it just feels like, despite this eternal gripe that I have with the world, as in the world sentence. How, what is it? I don't remember how you say it, but yeah, the concept of the world written all fancily, basically. I feel like sometimes, sadly, it happens unavoidably that we have these things, and we have this world, and we have this handful of issues that exist, but we act like they come from nowhere. When in reality, it just takes, I don't know, maybe, oh wow, I have to spend the next hour of my life learning about why this issue exists. Is it that bad? Don't I live more comfortably? I spent 1 hour now to never again have to ask myself, why the fuck is this happening? Whenever something related to that happens, I can go back to the reason as to why this thing is the way it is. I have to not anymore deal with the burden of not knowing why things are the way they are. Instead, I choose to remain ignorant to the answer as to why things are the way they are. Why is this a problem? Why are things happening in this way? Why is this trend existent? Why are, I say, an hour, sometimes unavoidably, there are some issues that might take, I don't know, 10 hours, 20 hours, 100 hours to understand. But there are some others that take literal minutes, and it's strange to see it predicated so much as a bad thing, or as a normal thing. That, yeah, you know what, things happen and they don't need it to make sense. They might not make sense any. They might not make any sense whatsoever. Sorry, and truly, that is the way in which we want to see things. I don't know, man. Sometimes I find out that when I try to get things, I can minimally do so, and it's weird to see it so repeated throughout time, so normalized throughout time. But yeah, I guess that's once again my eternal gripe of, yeah, we have all of these things and they are bound to be that way and nothing else. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure there are other layers that I'm absolutely ignoring, And I am trying to actually get what those other layers are. The problem is, perhaps I can't really rapidly do that. But I'm trying at least, so I'm happy knowing that I'm trying. That's also dog, a random dog. That's that, I guess. And I don't know, I said it before, there is so much stuff. It's crazy actually. I, is this, wait, I'm way too far from the mic. Lol, give me a second. I was about to break the mic arm because I was trying to get it way too close to me. I didn't realize that I moved back. I was saying, I mean, changing topics. And I don't know, I have been also, for example, trying to go back into the habit of writing things down. I find it crazy to see how little I can sometimes realize that, yeah, I possess my own difficulties. I have the things that I can't really deal with so easily, and it's strange to see, once again, concept of being a grown person. That means that you are supposedly somehow magically capable of dealing with every single thing that life throws at you. I don't know, I think I can very well operate within the boundaries of the things that I can do so long as I can identify the way in which I can actually solve the issues. And I should be more than content with that. Sometimes the aspiration to be absolutely perfect in the way in which I exist and in the way in which I deal with the problems that life presents to me becomes way too much of a burden in itself. And I don't know, I guess the point that I might be trying to make is I find myself surrounded by way too many people of that sort. I don't know. But I'm trying to think about it. I don't know. I don't see it happen only on my family, only on my friend group, only on my acquaintances. I see it almost everywhere, and unavoidably also, it's not like, yeah, everybody but me. No, I also unavoidably keep on falling on that same issue, on that same fallacy of, I believe that I have no issue whatsoever. Um, well, welcome, Chica. I hope you're very good. I hope you're having a good day. I guess it is a day. It is morning, evening, something. Midday, probably. It's like 1 p.m. So yeah, welcome. Yeah. What was I saying? Sorry. I lost. I was in the track of. Yeah. I was something about the nature of this whole having to do things and having to actually accept that sometimes we are going to have difficulties. Yes. And the issue is, I don't know, I feel like I cannot really accept the difficulties. I cannot really accept that there are problems that I might need to solve in any way whatsoever. It doesn't really even matter in which way. The point is trying to actually try to solve them, to keep on living the rest of life without the issue itself existing. It's how to say it in a more coherent manner. I have the things that happen to me, and the things that happen to me are in themselves already something that I can learn from. I can keep on experiencing the same outcome of the experiences that I go through life, and sometimes I have the possibility, I am offered the possibility, as long as I realize that I can change the situation itself in some way, I have the possibility of making the outcomes and the situations themselves not occupy as much time of my existence. Issue is, in the process of accepting that I have that very same possibility, I have to put myself at risk of realizing that I might not be as capable of actually dealing with the situation itself, so to speak. It's like I'm trying to avoid using more specific terminology. Will be something along the lines of, yeah, I possess my own ego, and my own ego gets damaged once I have to accept, once I have to humble myself to the reality of the situations that I find in life, sometimes that are overwhelming to me. So I have to be humble enough to accept that I needed to change, I need to ask for help and whatever. And sometimes that's also the problem. Sometimes you hear the problem is the ego, you have to ask help. Sometimes it's not even about asking for help, it's just about understanding that one needs to change the personal way in which they engage with things. That's the issue. That's the part of the problem too. I can very easily deal with some aspects of my existence as long as I find a way in which it stops being a problem altogether, you know? What's up? Not much below. Welcome, welcome. Today, I guess I am just rambling. I am just spouting nonsense, as the youngsters will say. I'm trying to uncover a new ditch in the game of life. Huh? What are we talking about today? A great question. Right now, I don't know, being a functional person, being a somebody capable of not putting the what's the expression, the common English expression, putting the stick in my own wheel, something like that, you know, not being a hindrance to myself, something like that, having the capacity to not kill my own efforts, my own goals. Really relaxing, boss. Thank you very much. I guess I try to. No, I try to. Where are you from? Argentina. Thank you. But yeah, something like that. The expression is something like that, and that's the discussion, I guess. Trying to understand something along those lines. How to live life in that way without, I guess, destroying oneself. Uh, you know, a guy from Argentina, amazing. Most probably, I don't know him, sorry. Sorry. It will be amazing. Imagine, it will be so amazing. Yeah, no, I know somebody from America, and you also know him. As an example, but no, it doesn't happen. Why don't we know each other? We have the internet. Why don't we know every single other person? We don't have the capacity to do that. He's just really monarchist. Millet? What the fuck? What are we talking about? Like, look, no, not you. What is that person talking about? A monarchist? Whatever happens, I guess. What an individual, your friend, huh? So that is the kind of person you like, huh? Sí, yeah, sí. No, sorry. I was saying that, yeah, I don't know, trying to live life in a way in which one doesn't have as many issues, one doesn't really have as many things that make existence more difficult than what it already is. He's from Córdoba, amazing. I am not from there also, so we are even a lower chance of me knowing him. So it's absolutely over. But also, can you listen to that though? No, okay, you can't. Amazing. I was. Every single dog on my neighborhood started to bark for some reason. What a wonderful happening. Come again? I haven't really said anything. I was trying to continue what I was saying, but I got distracted by not my own dogs, the dogs from this neighborhood. Happens things. Let me continue. Now for real. I guess I cannot. Let me drink water. Before I lose my mind, let me drink water. About to lose it, man. Why don't they shut up? Why do people have dogs and they don't teach them to have manners? Why? It's bad to force your dog to have manners. You have to be more acceptant of their animal nature. Sorry. I was saying that, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's very complicated. You know, I was saying here, please go ahead. It's very complicated to the point of actually living life without having that many issues. I mean, una otra es the proper expression. It's impossible to not have at least one moment in life in which you become your own hindrance. Eh? A land where dogs bark with terraces for Russia? What the fuck? What does that mean? I don't get it. It's backward? Ah, ah, yeah. I get it. I don't really get exactly in which sense. Why would Russia be backwards? Like, why is Russia backwards? But I get, the saying. Okay, I see. Makes sense. Now makes sense. Thank you. Happens here in Argentina. It's more like dogs who fucking bark for anything, who live hyper alert existence. Poland is where I'm from. Amazing. Welcome, Poland. Nah. Sorry. Blood feud with them happens. What's the notion of Europe always being in constant struggle with Europe? the very worst enemy of a European and not a European. Sorry. Can happen. Sorry. It's like it's the same thing as a Midwest, a mid or Western European also, or Asia. I mean, even here we have the same thing. Every single part of the world is full of conflict. We feel happy while ignoring how many issues there are in our own houses. We acknowledge only the problems out there without ever realizing that we also suffer the same flaws. As in, I guess, yeah. No. Argentina also has way too many of those. Argentina, it's amazing to hear people hate other people just because they are from a certain country. I mean, here. It happens here. And it happens everywhere. Why? Because that's the tradition. What a wonderful tradition. What a beautiful tradition, man. What a significant tradition. They for sure hate me. They don't even know who I am. I don't even know who they are, but we hate each other. We attack Russia, sack their capital, take their over for 17 years. Yeah, I mean, that happened, but that happened like how many years ago, how many centuries ago at this point, you know? Yeah. I mean, you're talking about kings, you see, you're talking about kings. How many? It's like in the 20th century, we discarded kings and monarchies and whatnot. I guess probably Russia, particularly with the whole system of Tsars, not particularly that one, not, but you get the point. It's like, yeah, these problems of ours. Same here, people that hate, as in the Argentinians who hate Chileans or Brazilians for things that happened. I wasn't alive for those discussions. I wasn't even remotely alive for that. Uh, 14 years, amazing. But I mean, Bolshevism was also like very far away in time. When was it? The Bolsheviks was like in the 1900s, 19 something, like 1950. I think, no, that's way too. Maybe I'm not that wrong with the time. Maybe 18 to the thousands. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thousands, right? What? Thousands? I mean, okay. The proper when Bolshevism was a serious thing, let's say, when it was when it existed in its proper form. I guess it's like when you talk about Nazism and people says, "Oh yeah, we have neo Nazis." No, we have them. We don't really have a state that is absolutely dangerous like it was Germany's Nazism. You know, same thing with yeah, we have all Bolsheviks. They are not that kind of Bolshevik. We have Leninists, I think they are called also, but they are not exactly like Lenin, you know. Ah, Polish communists are in 1989. Amazing. You're talking about Polish. No, sorry. You can be absolutely right. I don't know the story of Poland. I know only Russia because you're almost forced to learn about Russia once you try to learn about something like yes, most of the yeah, when you try to learn philosophy, you also have to learn about the history of the philosophers and the context of the thinkers and such. So you end up being forced to learn about that. And it's not that Poland has no influential thinker. I guess it's more along the lines of I simply haven't really deepened my knowledge in exactly what Poland has to offer. So sadly. The Trotskyist part in Argentina, probably it happened. Okay, I know about politics of my own country. I know that we have like two political parties, main parties, right now, present, but we still have issues of what's a common predicate is something along the lines democracy in its current form tends to always make people have a bipartisan system in terms of you only have two available parties. And we have not yet consolidated ourselves to that point, but I don't really know exactly what is the political landscape. I guess I know that there are issues. That's all that I know. I know that there are problems, and no, none of them are solving them. I love politics. What a wonderful thing. So many promises. We are gonna solve world hunger. Next day, there are some people die of hunger. They are behind the more violent part of the Millet protest against new labor reforms. Can happen, probably. I won't take your word that much for it because I have no clue. But makes sense, but reasonable enough idea. I mean, what's the basic notion? You can always believe that people might as well become chaotic, but it doesn't really need to be from any one party. As long as you have a charismatic enough leader, they can be swayed to do very bad things. You know? Yeah. The point I'm trying to make with the Russia Poland thing. Okay. Yeah. Make it. I believe you. You can make it. The next war will make or break my nation's future forever. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I guess it's more along the lines of sadly, we live in so many. What's the soon to happen? Something along the lines of imminent, yeah, imminent wars, imminent conflicts, almost guaranteed conflicts, that it's amazing to see how much we believe we are in a stable era, so to speak. It's in itself, it's actually sad to see how many conflicts there are, and unavoidably there are also some who are actually going on, but I don't know. Blessed are those who remain ignorant about the political landscape of the whole world, because it's crazy how many conflicts can happen right now. Yeah, can happen, can happen. I mean, I guess enough uh, conventions to ensure that at least a decent enough size of the population can be kept alive. But even if, or in the worst case scenario, yeah. But I don't know. One has to believe, I guess. I wouldn't say. I would say that, I guess. I don't know. The point is really, it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful to see the same discussion as always. Oh yeah, but what in the end, what is war? It's just two grown men laying armies because they decided to not talk things. Do people really need to kill each other? Wow, what a deep question. No, man, they don't. Really, we have to talk about that. We need to yet again consider, oh yeah, you don't need to kill your. Don't kill thy brother. Oh, brethren, you shall consider your brother of kin as somebody worthy keeping alive. What an amazing revelation you're giving me. No. Would you die for your country though? No. I would absolutely not. I would absolutely not. I would absolutely not, my brother. Absolutely not. And I will clown on every single one of my friends if they told me, yeah, I'm going to work. Man, you shouldn't do it. It's so unworthy. It has shown ways. I wish one place actually. No, I don't know you. Once again, you have a completely different history, but here there is no reason to actually do it. Here, people who have done so is absolutely meaningless. You don't get any kind of reward. You don't gain anything for doing that. You're only throwing away your life for a state that doesn't really care about you. In the end, even worse, you get the whole reward of, yeah, you will now go to martial law for having killed on a world that you were forced to go to. Wow, what an amazing, beautiful place. This state is such a meaningful thing to do, to support the country that asks you to do it. It's such a wonderful thing. Same thing as for example, one story that I do know was we had the whole conflict of, I guess, the only thing that we are militarily known for, Malvinas. Okay, we had that thing, the Malvinas slash Falkland. That happened. Then later on, many of the people who, in that same spirit, decided to die for their country, and those who obviously didn't, but killed others, ended up getting judged because of that. They were kids. They were literally 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds who were forced to fucking go. And, yeah, you know what? Now you have to get shot. Now you have to get martially sentenced to serve a punishment. Wow. What a great treatment. So, yeah, no, at least here makes no sense whatsoever to do something like that. If, I guess the concept will be something along the lines of, if there was such a sense of, as a proper patriotism in which giving your life for your nation was a worthy thing, then yeah, absolutely do it. But I don't know, at least right now, it doesn't seem to be the case. Same thing that happens, for example, when you look at another example, something like America, you end up listening to what happened, and yeah, do you, if you ever get found out that you killed way too many people, you end up getting shots for that. Even if you did it under the law wars and whatnot, you can still get shots for it, and you can still get a sentence for that. in many ways, nowadays, loyalty to your country, to your state, to your communities isn't really rewarded in the way in which it should. The whole promise of, yeah, you're going to die for a nation who truly appreciates you is more of a pretense to do so. Once people does, they are seen as brutal animals who sacrifice themselves, who should be ostracized and who should not be allowed because they are a danger to society in its entirety, when in reality it doesn't need to be that way, unavoidably. But go explain that to the guy who needs to save a face. But gets me. Wait, I don't. Anyway, I'm not going to kill anyway, so no need to think about that. Thank you. If no, this is a serious topic, so I will refrain from making any joke. Yeah. But yeah, that's the state of things, I guess. I don't know. The world is wonderful. I don't know, I guess. And so would you like to hear why we go to war? Do you wanna say it? Are you truly sure you wanna say it? If you wanna say it, go ahead, I guess, yeah. I won't hold you back. I'm not going to. I mean, I say that I'm not going to punish you. If you tell me, yeah, because I want to kill somebody, perhaps I'm going to. Limits where limits are due, my brother. Be rational. We will go to is a total war with Russia. Yeah. That's what I was saying before. Supposedly, Europe has like 3 minutes. More like Eurasia, I think it is called. It has like 2 or 3 incoming wars with Russia, Poland, the Ukraine, Russia also, I think it is. China and Taiwan, and like the Middle East, that I have no clue how many countries there are. So yeah, that its core is a war of the liberal democratic world order with an imperialist, authoritarian, kleptocratic regime. I would rather live in a nuclear fallout than in Russia. Seriously, I mean, yeah, I can get it. It's like I don't know. It's dangerous to say it to some degree, but people to some degree also unaware forget that do I really want to live in a place like China? I don't know if I want to live in a place like China. Much less, do I really want to live in a place like North Korea? I'm pretty sure I don't want to live in a place like North Korea. I get it. And in that same line, do I really want to live in a place like Russia? Perhaps I don't want to live in a place like Russia. So yeah, it's understandable. Sometimes it's better to die in the process. I guess it's reasonable enough. Sadly, there is the alternative always of, yeah. You can always try to escape, but what happens with everyone else, brother? What happens with literally the rest of the world there? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess so. I mean, Venezuela has already been done so. So yeah. It's. I guess. Okay. No wait. The whole expression is the landscape, the current political landscape, geopolitical landscape seems very interesting. Yeah, in that sense. Yeah, makes sense. But well, I guess we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see. I hope. I don't know. The whole supposedly one of the few things that seems to be true is okay. I'm talking as if it was a recent. He said that like years ago at this point. I remember when Trump got the first popular here, it was with "We want no more killings, stop killing people." Supposedly that's his politics, so perhaps great things can come in terms of perhaps there is no need to go to war, perhaps. Has Ukraine versus Russia stopped? No. So perhaps we are just lying to ourselves. Makes sense. I mean, unavoidably, in this, what's the concept? You need to still be producing enough riches or something like that to remain uh, an ongoing force in the current landscape. It's always a war of attrition more than a real engagement in a direct confrontation. That doesn't happen anyways. So I I hope you don't want to explain because certainly I don't know any of those terms, but I'm sure. Global power. Okay. I get it. Okay, I get it. Now I get it. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, unavoidably, I don't know. It's an interesting place. Why? What do you mean? Why? The wonderfulness. Why what? Why? Yeah, I see. I mean, the eternal issue of what would be the proper explanation? Something along the lines of the overarching, not exactly monarch, but more like mad king in terms of the guy in power who believes that they should gather every single thing that they can. The eternal concept of, yeah, somebody who tries to have way too much in their own control, you know? Yeah. It's part of the problem, but I don't know. I guess. I mean, that's a dangerous statement. That's absolutely a dangerous statement. How do I say it without getting targeted? Sometimes it's difficult to be capable of eradicating the sources of power. Okay. I can say it like this. With your example, I can say it like this. It's kind of hard. It was at that time kind of incredibly hard to kill somebody like Peron. It could have been a great thing, perhaps, but it doesn't happen. So it's hard to change the course of history when there is actually somebody literally carrying power. Like, okay, good example, Hitler. That's an actual good example of somebody who was absolutely crazy at the end of their life, and it's hard to deal with them. But one has to just, I guess, wait because sadly, the crazy people don't last that long. But yeah, that's my point, I guess. But no, okay, I understand. Thank you for the explanation. Yeah, but well, I don't know. Doing it's crazy, I guess. Is the World War III coming? Question mark. I don't think so. I don't know. It's always. It's. Is it fantastical thinking? Like idealism to say World War III is not soon, is not going to happen. I feel like it's more sure to not come because there are so many things to lose in terms of haven't we haven't hasn't the world itself changed so much to be such a capitalist environment that people would not want to go into the Third World War for the sake of not losing as many things? I feel like it's strange to think that, yeah, you know what? A handful of crazy people who can decide to possess nuclear weapons will utilize all of them to eradicate everyone else. I think, based on what has been observed so far, I feel like things are set in a way in which, when things get way too complicated, we can finally say that, yeah, that they're not going to happen in terms of, you know what, they're going to get removed. Very much like what happened with the example of Maduro and Venezuela before it actually becomes a real threat for the entirety of the world. Time to do something about it, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess I it's the eternal question of, am I actually judging correctly, or am I just trying to remain hopeful? Perhaps for somebody who lives there, it is almost obviously going to happen that, yeah, there is no coming back. We are going to the Third World War. It's just a matter of when, but it's going to happen. But I don't know, I guess the distance makes you have more. You have a question? Ask whatever you want. No, not whatever. I mean, you can ask. Do I support? I Okay. Let me express my political position. I am somebody who pays the tax. No, I support nobody. We have a ticket here that you have to pay for not going to vote. That's my position. I pay the ticket every single time, and I have paid it, and I will keep paying it. I'm not. I'm not participant of politics here. I am the rat who looks from outside. I am memes. Do you know memes? Okay, the guy who criticizes the world from the, well, I am that kind of guy. I don't participate. I have no clue. Sometimes I hear from my friends, yeah, Milei is doing this, the opposition is saying that. Wow, so amazing. I have no clue. I I like to live in a completely unknowing world. Uh, I guess I don't know. That's my expression of it. Let me search for the actual word to make more sense. I say ticket. Is it ticket? I fine. Okay, I pay the fine every single time that I have to. I don't vote. I'm not a politically active person. I I don't trust. I don't trust politics like that. At least here, once I'm. It's so meaningless in the end. Does it matter if I support anybody? Are they going to actually benefit the things that they want to see benefited? Most of politics in Argentina is about, yeah, you have to go out there and do politics on your own. You know what? I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to have a political career. I am happy with the many things that I like. Not going to enter the political game. But yeah, I guess I remain ignorant or something like that. I remain an outsider of the whole situation. Thank you. That's my position. I don't know. I guess also, what the fuck? I have been 2 hours here already. Amazing. I wasn't expecting that. It's okay. Any other question? Pillow? If not, I am going to call it a day. I have to wake up in like how many? 6 hours? So I should actually go to bed. Yeah. It's over, man. It's over. I Come on, I then what? What are you saying, huh? Is are things over? Is this? It's over. What's happening, man? It's you can't just say something and expect me to understand it. It's can I get some context? Uh, they kill the Iranian. What? Okay, yeah, okay. The war is over. What the fuck? The war is over. Come back, come. It's we are so back, comfy. It's wow. See, that's a good news. That's a good news. Eh? No. By that. No. Eh. Yeah. Crazy. Okay. It's it's a good note, then I guess. Amazing note. Okay. Anyways, yeah. I said no, nothing else to really add. I have to go to sleep. I need to be a responsible human being. So yeah, thank you for everything. It has been a very good stream. And it will be all for today. Good night. I guess. I mean, the reality is we all say things are over. We are going to see what happens tomorrow, sadly. Or is the day just starting for you? We're going to see what happens throughout this next day, I guess. Yeah. I have to hope that things end. What's the expression of when the leader dies, the whole extremist groups remain? We have to pray to God that the extremists don't decide to do anything way too serious. So, so things are actually over. But yeah. Anyways, good night. Thank you for everything. It was a very good stream, and it was a very long one also. Yeah, I didn't realize that it has been 2 hours. So have a very good one. As always, thanks for everything. It has been an amazing story today. And tomorrow we're not going to stream actually. So yeah, next stream Monday. Tomorrow I have to study. So yeah, have a very wonderful night. Have a very wonderful evening. As always, be responsible, be good, hydrate, rest, everything, and even if we don't get to see ourselves any other time, it has been still nice. Have a good one. Thanks for everything. And yeah, still, all of those other things still apply. Do your part. Good night.